Good morning and welcome to our coffee conversations with Enid Hurtado today. My name is Amanda Bruce and I'm with the Ohio Valley Educational Cooperative, OVEC, and I'm one of the special education consultants. We are here supporting together with the Kentucky Autism Training Center in our series on Boardmaker. Today we're talking about visually supported academics. I'm going to turn this over to Enid and turn my camera off so that you can focus on Enid. Please feel free to ask any questions and we'll get started. Enid?
All right, thank you so much, Amanda. And we'd like to thank OVEC for sponsoring these. Amanda sets up everything. I just show up pretty much. So thank you so much, Amanda, for all your work. Hello, everyone. As Amanda introduced me, my name is Enid Hurtado, and I represent the Kentucky Autism Training Center, which I will share a little bit of information about later on in the presentation. But I just want to thank you for taking your time to watch this training, attend it, and show interest in being able to provide visually supported academics. And if you're not too sure what that is, one of the goals for me anyway, by the end of the session, is for you to have a pretty good idea about what visually supported academics are and be excited about using it with your students. Just before we get started, I just want to go over how to access the handouts. We have a bit.ly and a QR code. The bit.ly will go to a Google Drive that you can access. It's a learning resource page, a handout of the PowerPoint presentation, and I think you probably already accessed the handout, the sign-in sheet. And then of course the QR code will do the same. I'm going to show this after I show the PowerPoint because I just want to make sure everybody knows what's in the resources Google Drive. But I also have a Wakelet collection group that you can share with anybody to be able to access a bunch of resources that I will either refer to today or show.
And Enid, we'll make sure that we get that bit.ly posted in the chat and in the comments later on Facebook today so people can access those materials.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Amanda. All right, so one of the goals for me representing the Kentucky Autism Training Center is to be able to promote the evidence-based practices that have been shown to be effective with individuals on the autism spectrum. So part of our job is to be able to work with the community and school groups, and specifically my position is to work with school groups to train, support, troubleshoot with the teachers, staff, professionals at the schools to be able to support their students with autism, not only in the classroom, but in the community, and be able just to enhance the quality of life and build that capacity within the schools. So in our school-based instruction, we always go over the foundational 5, and today's session with visually supported academics falls within one of the newest evidence-based practices to be added to the list. And I'm not going to read the whole slide, but for those of you who have read it, you saw that there are now 28 of them. And not to dismiss many that we know that are effective, but this is all based on evidence-based research. So now it's that these evidence-based practices have reached a level where they have enough research to really show the efficacy. And I do have the link to the report on the learning resource. So if you want to look more into that so you could be able to talk to your colleagues about it, or share it with parents or anything like that, or just learn more, you can do that. But I'm not going to go over that in detail. But just know that today's session does fall under one of the newest ones, and that's the AAC, or augmentative and alternative communication, because it does meet the need of being able to provide supports for receptive language, for our students to be able to understand what the expectations are of an assignment, be able to understand the content, and be able to be successful in showing their knowledge. It also falls under the category of visual supports for obvious reasons for what it's named. And so that's why I highlighted these 2 categories. So just know that this is also part of reaching of us of our goal of being able to share the information that would best serve students on the autism spectrum disorder, or with autism spectrum disorder.
And Enid, I was just going to add that I think that communication is such a key to all academics, because without communication, it's going to be very difficult for students to be able to access those academics.
Exactly, Amanda. That's a really good point to call out. And also, I just wanted to share with you that when we go over the information, I know that many of you are going to think of students that are not officially diagnosed with ASD that could also benefit. So a lot of these practices that we teach about are really best practices for many students. So hopefully you'll find that not only will this address your students with ASD, but also other students that you are supporting as well. Right in front of us is the agenda. I provide this in the PDF for those of you who will be submitting the PowerPoint for any type of professional development hours or CECs or anything like that, because I know a lot of times they want to see the agenda, and so there's some other information in the PDF. But just know we are going to use the platform of Boardmaker Online to be able to show the visually supported activities. And one of the reasons is because these are free resources right now. And also, I've learned that many of you have access to Boardmaker Online through your schools or through your clinics, and just don't know what's in there because it is a pretty big program. So my goal today is not only to educate you about the visually supported academics, but also show you how you can access them very quickly, whether it's for free. If you're gonna, you can sign up for a trial of a 60-day trial free. So 60 days to be able to download a bunch of great resources. Or if you already have access to it, to be able to better use this resource that your school district or clinic has purchased. One of the big things that we're going to focus more than we have on the other sessions is the student center that Boardmaker has within Boardmaker Online. That is one of the benefits of the Boardmaker Online program, is that through the professional or district subscription, you are able to send a link to your students. They can download and place it on their devices, whether that's an iPad or Android or the iPhone. And then you can upload individualized activities for the students, which can take data, whether it's usage data, like just how much they're using it, how long they spent on it, or for some of the activities I'll show you, and these are all because they're based on templates that are already programmed and they're set up for this. They can take certain performance data. They may have quiz and practice mode. They may show like different settings, and so in a sense, different prompting levels, and how, what type of level. You can set them at different prompting levels so that you can show how the students are working towards independence, and then you can provide a quiz that can show the independence. So it gives you a lot of flexibility to be able to teach and assess students using this virtual, right? This is perfect for this time period, way of providing these activities for the students. So we're going to look at a lot of those, and then I'll show you like where all that information can be found within the program. But I did within that learning resource page in your Google Drive provide links to really short videos on YouTube that will show you how to better use these resources within Boardmaker Online, because that's just a whole nother hour of training, at least, if I was to do it. But so it's easier for you to do it on your own. So school to home connection. So this is one of the reasons we're presenting these sessions, is because we heard of, well, Amanda shared with me, I should say, Amanda heard, people have shared with her, how they've been starting to use Boardmaker Online through teletherapy, through just, when working with their students, because they already had an idea that the program did this, so they started trying it through Zoom. And so these are some of the ideas that we have heard, but I'm sure the more that we use it, and we are a very creative group in our world of special ed and in education in general, that's why we love what we do. being able to individualize and try to come up with solutions to best serve our students. I'm sure a lot of other ideas will come up. So just wanted to get you started on, ways you can use this. The first one, sending boards and activities home, I'm going to show you how you can use these on-screen activities on screen virtually, right? So through Zoom or through the student app. But then you can also print out any of these and send them home as PDFs for the parents to be able to practice at home, or even have a heads up. So if they're sitting beside their child, they know what the expectations of the activity is, and they have that PDF for them to be used as a model or prep their student, all what you decide what the student needs. And one of the benefits of that, and I know this is pretty obvious, but people don't realize that the more consistent the format, the more the student is able to just focus on the content, and therefore that, the more energy they need to learn the content is lessened, and so therefore they can actually learn the content versus trying to figure out how to be successful within the format that you're presenting to them. So I will definitely call out some of the more popular formats that have the most different settings, so that you can provide the content more consistently. So I'm talking about using the Student Center, PDFs, Zoom, you saw on the screen it said use the annotation or remote control, but this is all teaching, right? And at the very beginning, I told you that one of the goals of KATC, Kentucky Autism Training Center, that I represent, and one of the goals of this session is to promote evidence-based practices. And that, I shared how the visually supported academics falls under the communication and AAC category and visual supports category. Well, one of the places that you can go to learn more about all the teaching strategies that we know that you will need to be using, and like you can see an example right here on the screen, prompting, right? Like I said, that's an evidence-based practice, but we use it for all students, is on this Affirm module. These are free modules. They're 2 hours long if you took them as a proper class, but they have tons of resources. They're broken down, so you don't have to do the whole 2 hours. You can just focus, or you can send them the parents, or if you have your paras helping out, the paras a link, and they can learn about it before you actually get into teaching, or you can assign them a part of the module for them to look at specifically. Just a lot of resources at your fingertips. So I just wanted to make sure that you know that you have this, and really encourage you to check this out, especially when you're supporting students in using these visually supported academics.
And
Okay.
Enid, I was going to
Yep.
say, with those Affirm modules, I think what's really important about those is the brief packets at the end, so that it gives you materials both to use within your classroom with your paras and your parents. So I would definitely check it out, especially as you are working through this new digital learning world. It gives you some great ideas on how to do some of those things with your teams as a whole.
And you'll see that I place this as the first learning resource. So you can just click on the link on the learning resource page, and it'll take you straight to this page where you can check out all the different modules. Okay, so references in case you need them. Also, again, for that PDF, if you need to submit it for hours. Our contact information, which we'll refer back to at the end. And now we'll start on a case study. I think probably at this point, you probably all have a student in mind, maybe a few students that have motivated you to attend this session or / watch this session. But just in case you're trying to figure out what kind of student would benefit, here's an example. Here's Luna, 12 years old, so one right in the middle. She has a receptive language disorder, doesn't complete her assignments. Teachers are saying it looks like she's misunderstanding the instructions for the assignments. So I use this example for last week's with the environmental supports. I'm using the same one because these are the same students, the ones who need environmental supports to be able to help them understand how to be successful within an environment. Well, this falls into the same category. Right now, we're just applying those same skills to academic formats. So now, again, I think that you probably know how we're going to try to support Luna virtually through the Student Center and sending PDF, not only PDF home of the formats to the parents, but also through the Affirm modules, be able to, because they do have specific parent letters or explanations of how to implement and what the evidence-based practices are all about within those brief packets that Amanda mentioned. Okay, and with that, it is showtime. So let me just exit out of here and
Enid, showtime is always my favorite part, not just because I like Greatest Showman, but because I think that our showtime portion of this, I think is what is one of the most helpful things as you walk us through Boardmaker.
yes, for sure. And for me, it's one of the most fun parts too. Before we jump into there, because this is the last session of this series, I just wanted to make sure that you know that the learning resources, this is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about the learning resources page within the Google Drive. And I keep mentioning how there's the links on there. Here's your Affirm modules. There are also videos, links to the videos I mentioned. And then that Wakelet collection, it seemed that some people were not able to access the Google Drive, or they know people that are, cannot access the Google Drive. So there is another resource that may be easier for them, and it looks just like this. So that link that you saw will take them, this is also public, so they can search for it as well, just visually support academics. But it has the links and the PDFs that you find in the Google Drive listed right here, as you can see them right there. So I just wanted to make you aware of that before we're not able to return to that, and so you know what we're doing. The other thing I wanted to mention to you too, that we didn't really get to in the other sessions, and what I'm going to do is going to log out on Boardmaker Online. So it doesn't matter if you have the program or not for these sessions, okay? And I think it's pretty self-explanatory in the sense that most people know how to sign up for free trials. I think what I really want to emphasize is that when you sign up for a free trial for Boardmaker, it's not a 30-day trial. And some of the videos or some of the web pages may still say that, but for right now, they're doing a 60-day trial. So you're going to go to Boardmaker Online, and you're going to sign up using right here where it says sign up, and then once you're signed up, you're going to log in on the left side, which is how I will log in a little bit later. But I just wanted to show you. It might take me to the sign up sheet because I'm already a member. Let's see. Oh no, it just decided to do that twice. Okay, so don't worry about the prices here. I just want to show you the difference because I want to make sure you sign up for the right subscription model. Okay, first I want to show you they did change that. It says try free for 60 days. Okay, 60 days. Now this is per email. Okay, just want to call that out. The thing is that if you save activities within your account, you can't transfer them, but I'm going to show you something at the end of the session that will help with that. Okay, and so you have community, personal, and professional, and organization. What you're going to see today, my account is a district account. So for those of you who do have access to this account through your district, so you have teachers, SLPs, different staff using it, yours will look like mine. Okay, professional, this is just one-on-one. The benefit of the professional is that it has multiple student center accounts, so that it has up to 10 accounts that you can use. And so yours will also look like mine. It just won't say district, okay? And there's been a couple things that may be different, but for the most part, everything will look the same. This is the one I recommend that you sign up for the student trial, okay? What the personal and community is, the personal will not, you could do one student center, I believe, maybe. I'm not sure if they changed that, but it just doesn't give you as many options as far as student center wise. So if you're going to sign up for a trial, you might as well do the professional. Don't worry, you won't ask you for your credit card or anything, so it's not going to expire and then charge you. Okay, they're good like that. And then community, some of you may have already signed up for community once upon a time. It seems like everybody at one point signed up for community. This is just the board sharing part, which I'm going to show you right now. And you could, like it says lifetime, so you can sign up anytime. The other subscriptions also have access to community. So for right now, for our purposes today, and for our students, please sign up for the trial professional. Okay, I just wanted to make sure, because I don't want to show you all these features and then you sign up for the wrong one and say, hey, mine doesn't do that. Okay, let me go ahead and sign in and we'll jump into showing you all the great free resources that you can start using with your students right away. Let's see, Boardmaker Home. Get back to that page. Oh, here we go. Okay, so it's just as easy as logging in really quickly. For those of you who ever have used a Boardmaker program before, this was going to look very different if you haven't seen it already. I will show you how to edit an activity in there, and that part might look a little familiar. If you've never used a Boardmaker program before, don't worry. They try to make it as intuitive, but I do recommend you watching those videos because this program is very large. So if you're a person who just likes to click around like I do, I'm like, oh, I don't have to watch it. I'm just going to click around and learn the program. I don't recommend that with this program because it can take you down rabbit holes. So, and just cause frustration, and who has time for that, right? So I would recommend either watching this video again later on, or going to that learning resource page and watching the videos to learn about the skills that you want to learn first. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to the part where the community part, where some of you may be familiar with this. This is the area where people from literally all over the world can post the activities made with their Boardmaker program up into a sharing community. This has been around for a while now, so, and it's been under different names. So some of you may have already used this before, but for many of you, you probably don't even know it's there. So I just wanted to make sure that you are not recreating the wheel, okay? Not only that, because again, who has time for that, but also sometimes it's overwhelming. This task of supporting our students is overwhelming, right? A lot of us are in a constant state of being overwhelmed and a little bit frustrated. So let's alleviate that and let's see what everybody else is doing, right? A lot of us are in the same boat. So Amanda, since we're focusing on academics today, what is an academic topic that you think we should search for first? Sorry to put you on the spot, but
not a problem at all. I think one of the academics that we struggle with the most are mathematics, especially that conversation around subtraction. Oftentimes adding seems to be a strength for the students that I've worked with, but subtraction is always a little struggle.
Okay, yeah, great, sounds good. Okay, so I'm going to search twice. I'm going to put math, the general term, and then I'm going to place subtraction in. So I'm just going to do math, select enter. So just like Google, right? Just put it search term. And you're going to see that a lot may come up. So if we look up here in the top right corner, you see that there's 1,832 activities of all types, right? And remember, these are uploaded by people like you and me. And so they can name it whatever they want. So what it did, it searched for anything that had math in its title. So you can see we have, there's a lot of different kinds of math that have popped up. Before I go become more specific, I just want to call out some features that you're going to see here that will help you understand what type of activity it is. For the first one that you see, and I'm not sure why there's no thumbnail in this one, but if you see the monitors, that means that this activity has been identified as being an interactive on-screen activity. So these are those virtual activities that may upload into the Student Center. If it has this rectangle that's dog-eared, obviously that's a piece of paper. So these are print only. Remember that interactive you can change into PDFs, but these will be PDFs only. On the left side, you see that there's a lot of ways you can narrow down the search. I think probably the most helpful is, again, whether you would like it to be print or on screen, but also, wait, hold on, let me look for it. I think I just passed it. Whether it's going to be interactive or on screen is what I'm looking for. Okay, so Boardmaker Online right here is probably going to be, oh, here we go. I don't know how I passed it. You can see that there's interactive with performance tracking. So if you're planning to do the performance where you want to collect data on the activities, this is where you would check this box. And then there's print only. Okay, so this may help narrow it down as well. And then there has age groups, but I would focus on the developmental. All right, so let's put subtraction. And let's see what people have done around subtraction. All right, so we have, first one that comes up is an interactive performance activity, which that means it has the ability to take data. And you see that there's the print, and so let's see how many, now we're down to 158. So that helps narrow down. And you can just look at the, at the titles and see what it may be if they are specific, but it looks like Benny would just put subtraction. So you may have to just click on it. So let's go to the first one, subtraction matching, since this is going to give us the biggest bang for our buck, and this instead it has that performance tracking aspect to it. And when you first bring up an activity, you can play it right away, okay, just by hitting that little play option right there, so you can check it out. If you're, you may get a little window if your computer doesn't have, I think it's the Adobe. Just click on it and it should ask you if you want to allow it once or always. Okay, so don't panic if that happens. All right, so we have our subtraction matching. And so you can see I can click on it, and then what happens on the right side, the student will choose. Let's see what this, I didn't check what the settings are on this one. Let me make it a little bit bigger so you can see it better. There you go. Let's say if we do one wrong, let's see what happens.
Sorry, that's not a match.
Okay, so they have it set up so that it does provide feedback. Let's see if we do another one that's wrong. So you need to click on it. So
sorry, that's not a match.
Okay, so they have it so that it's not going to show correction. So some of them will show the correction right away.
That's right.
Okay, so you can see how this is set up, and then it continues to go down. And you can see on the bottom right, this one provides a print. So you can print the results into a PDF so that you have, you can put it into a file. You can print it before you start it so that this then becomes a matching activity that you can send home and they can practice with their parents or as an independent activity. If you want to see what the settings are, I keep talking about these settings, you're going to go up here to the top left corner. You're going to see there's double arrows. When I click on it, you see it expanded, that green bar just shot across the screen. On the top right corner, you're going to see the little conch or little wheel. For those of you who are supporting any AAC device users, high-tech device users, that's what user settings is for you to, because if you have this on their device, then you can set the specific settings that they need. But for the rest of us, especially if you're using the Boardmaker Student Center or you're just doing it on your computer, you're doing this virtually, you're gonna go to activity settings to see what options you have to be able to individualize this activity a little bit more. So this does look like this activity has what I have referred to earlier as a practice and quiz mode. The people who programmed this, I'm just going to give you a heads up on this. I don't know why they use this wording, but they're very techy. Okay? And so they use supported mode as the practice mode. And then they use the words false and true for yes and no. Okay, but to their credit, they did include a description column so that if you're not sure what this feature does, which I feel like the names of them, they did do a good job in, calling out what it does. But in case that they don't, because there are some activities that have a lot more features, they do, as you can see, put a description of what this activity will do when you change it, or how it could benefit. So if we want to put it into quiz mode, we're going to click on the word, drop down menu appears, and then you select true to say, yes, I do want it on supported mode. Okay, so this is really going to challenge your receptive language skills as well. So speak label, some students, they do not want the label to be spoken because that takes more time in the program and they may get frustrated. So it looks like the person who created this has it off. But if your student does need the label to be created because of reading ability or the auditory processing, then you may want to change that. So again, you can change the activity completion feedback text. If you wanted to, you can record your voice or put your favorite song or something like that. So you could really individualize it using media like video and sound. It just depends on how much time you have, if you have those type of things. But the sound, I think you can record your own voice for most. Yeah, you could record. So you could even bring that song up on your iPhone, or if you have it, and then record it quickly into that, and then it'll play at the end of the activity, or record your voice. So when they're doing it independently on their own, they can hear your voice at the end, especially if you have a relationship with the student. So again, you're like, whoa, how did you even get to that? I got so involved in understanding what you were explaining, I forgot how you even got there in the first place. Okay, well, let me save this and let's see if this will save, because I didn't save it to my activity. So yeah, I had a feeling it was going to reject that on there. So let me show you how we got there. Let me do a little review, okay, and then it'll get quicker after this. And again, remember, I just found this on Community. It was something somebody made. So after I checked it out and I liked the activity and I'm like, yep, I can use that, I may just change some of the problems, right? Maybe I don't want as many, or so you can leave some of these blank. And then I'm going to show you where the templates are. So if you want to make smaller ones, or you just want to make harder ones, whatever the case may be. The first thing you want to do is hit this little plus button. You see I'm right underneath the title, Subtraction Matching. There's a toolbar. I'm going to hit that plus. That's going to place it into my own private folder on activity. That's part of your subscription. So add to my activities. Okay, great. I have that. All right, all right, good. There we go. And now you can see that the toolbar expanded. So I have a lot more now. Just really quick, some of them are self-explanatory, obviously printing, but I would print it from the activity being played, because you can see that red writing. The red writing is to help you understand how to put content into the activity. And we'll see that in editing mode, but you don't want the student to see that. So I would play it and then print it if you want to send a PDF home. Then you have this little icon with a 0. This is just so you can assign it to your students. Okay, I'm just calling that out right now because, again, I'm not going to go into this detail. But this is where you would assign it to a specific student. So if I click on here, I have 2 students, 2 sample students. I put myself and then one of my friends, so that I'm not copying anybody's name. But this is how you would quickly assign it to the student if that's what you wanted to do. If you want to just use it as is. I'm going to show you another one where this is what you would use for on screen. Let's see, there's some other features you don't need to know right away. But if this one right here, the pencil, is your editing tool. So let's just go into editing mode. Say if I wanted to change this activity. Now, for those of you who have used Boardmaker before, this editing screen may look a little familiar, but it maybe have been a while, so don't worry about it. But just wanted to call that out before you see it. It's going to bring it up one more time, but again, we're not playing it. Now we're going to edit it. So I'm going to do so here we go. Okay. Here's some editing. Here's the editing mode. You see that there's some, there's that red lettering I was telling you about. All you need to do is click in the button to edit, and you can change the numbers right away, okay, if that's what you want to do. Okay, I'm just going to do that just as an example. So now it's 7 minus 2. And so now so you can see that the answers are right across. So that's the one thing I want to call out about any type of matching activities, because there are other templates that are matching. Some people, when they first start, they think that they have to scramble the answers, right? So you saw that they were scrambled when I played them. But you can see that they're not scrambled when you're programming it. When you're placing the content in it, the correct answer does need to be across from the answer. The program itself, when you go into play mode, it will scramble, and it will scramble it different almost every single time. Okay, so every time the student brings up this activity, it should be different. The answer should be in a different order, so they can't memorize the order of the answers or even the problems, but I'm not sure about that one. That depends on the template. Okay, so you can see, I'll just change one, but you can see how easy it is to change it. And then you have the instructions right there. And then you're gonna go up to File, Save Activity. It's gonna ask you to change it because it was somebody else's, right? So I'll place subtract, sub, edit, okay, just for my purposes, but you can say, you know, it's Madison's subtraction. If it's for a specific student, or it's week 1 subtraction, you know, whatever works for you. All right, and now I'm going to close it because I'm going to show you where it went. Okay, so I'm going to leave the page. So I'm just closing. Now, where did it go, right? Where is it saving? Where did it just be saved at? The top, you have this tab. It's My Boardmaker. Select My Boardmaker. And now this is your special place. So you can see the first activity that's listed under My Activities is this activity that we just edited. The original one is also there because remember we did hit that plus button. All right, so let's go ahead and select play. And you're gonna see that it scrambled it. Okay, so yeah, it does look like the problem scramble as well, because remember this was the problem I changed, the 7 minus 2. So the left column does scramble. So the order of the problems and the answers will differ every single time. But again, it's about formatting and knowing how to be successful. So it still works the same as, you know, as it did last time. So the format doesn't change. So the student doesn't have to guess how to be successful, but you can put different content in these buttons.
And Enid, when it scrambled, we didn't actually see the scramble.
Nope. Nope. And that's why another reason, yeah, so you can make different worksheets too, right? It's like a bingo card where you can make different worksheets just by printing it right here. Select print, and it's going to print this screen, which doesn't have the red writing. And so it can print to your printer if you like. You can also do print right here, this button right here. Remember that green bar that came across? Now you're like, where did it go? Where it went on your screen right here, like, so you can see me moving the web page behind. At the top right corner here, and I'll just move this right here so it's more obvious, is a little bell. This little bell says number 1. If I click right on it, now it shows that the PDF of that activity just printed for you. So you could print it from your printer, or you can, hold on, sorry. This is, I have windows open that you can't see on my screen. There we go. I just wanted to show you. So there you go. There's your PDF that you can save and send to a student if you want to do it independently, or a parent, or whatever the case may be. Okay, so that is an example of how easy that is. And let me find the,
And I think that's a really important thing to see, especially as we are working both digitally or we are providing non-digital supports. This allows you to really mix things up and keep things fresh, so that students don't become frustrated and bored, and neither do you as the instructor or the teacher have the burden of always having to think something up new. This allows you that moment to kind of take a breath, but still provide that creativity for your students.
Exactly. And also, I didn't show you, and I just realized that, like, say this is too much, right? The original one, there's too many problems on that one, but you like the format and you want to be able to build up to the student doing that many problems. What you could do is just delete, like when you're in that editing mode, you just delete the the content within the content, sorry, I'm getting tongue tied. the content within those, what we call buttons or those little squares, you just delete the content. And when you go into play mode, it won't show. And then, but in edit mode, you see all those options. And so then you can build that student's proficiency. So just like how when on a worksheet, right, we would just cover up the problems. So you can save multiple versions of this activity and say, you know, you only want to have 4 problems at the beginning. Well, you go in and you delete the content from the rest of them. And then you can build up on and they'll stay there. You don't delete the button itself. You just delete the content. And when you go into play mode, it won't show at all. They won't show empty buttons. They don't mess up the scrambling. They just don't appear at all. And so then you can build on top of that to build the student's proficiency. So you can see there's a lot of things that you can do with just one template, and you can meet all different levels of learning. So you can differentiate the activity, and you can also meet different needs of the learning styles of the students as well. Okay, I know that was a mouthful.
It was, but I think that's so important.
Yes.
I think this is like a really critical thing for teachers to know that Boardmaker can really work to their advantage in our current situations.
Yes, yes. And I think that you hearing this information, again, they don't want to make it difficult for the students. So what I just shared with you, like how you get there and all the different things you can do, that applies to other templates as well. So I'm going to show you some other academically based templates that are in the program that you can use, and just know that how to get to activity settings, you know, being able to differentiate, being able to print, all those different features that I just pointed out in that one activity can also be applied to these activities too. Okay, so where are these templates? There are hundreds of templates in this program, both print and on screen. In the last few weeks, I've showed some templates that have been specific for communication and for environmental supports. I'm going to show you some that are for academics, but just know that they're formats, right? So they can be used for other skills as well. So where you find those templates is right here. So again, I'm in my Boardmaker, my activities. And to tell you the truth, when you're learning this program, if you can't find what you're looking for, when in doubt, go to my Boardmaker. Most of the time you'll find what you're looking for, okay? Except for that communities browsing area, and that's under activities and community activities. All right, so I'm under my activities, and I'm going to go to that first option, which is create activity. So I select create activity. And now here's where I have the option to either start from scratch, which I don't recommend unless you're a proficient Boardmaker user. So don't worry about that right now. But if you wanted to create like just some really basic buttons or squares, right? And you don't need all the other stuff. You just want to create stuff that you can send home really, really quickly, then that's where you would go to blank activity. But you might even find something in here too. So I would spend time looking at the templates. Just click. This is where you want to click, okay? Let me just show you how this is organized really quickly. On the left side, you have it broken down by activity type and instructional area. So there's some overlapping going on there. Let me see if I can get this a little bit bigger. At the top, you're going to see these are the different types of activities. So you may, see some familiar terms that I've already spoken about when it came to the community. Here's interactive. So again, this is the on-screen. Things may move, speak, something that the students can interact. So this may be something that you want to look out for your virtual therapy or teaching. Performance, this is the ones that take some type of data, and I will show you by the end of this session where you're going to find that data. Okay, and remember, you have some videos you can watch. And then these are the print templates. Okay, so these are just ones that you can, print out of your printer or turn into PDF. All right, so we can just look at some of these that you see here, and then I'll, because there's just so many great ones. Okay, and I just see some great ones just looking at us right now. So choice writing, 3 categories. Okay, so here's a writing template that may be a good one for emergent writers, because it provides talk about visually supported academics. There's also the KWL chart. This is a great differentiated template. Again, it's a template. So you put the content in, but you don't have to worry about the format. You just adapt it for what you need. And then there's word banks, our good old word banks, okay? Again, look at the top. This is 1 to 16 of 640 templates. So I'm just going to show you a few. Greeting cards. So they do have some fun, quote unquote, fun activities. And you'll see, I think one of the categories is called fun activities somewhere around here. Oh yeah, for fun. That's what they're called, for fun. So you see there's 42. So that's where greeting cards may pop in, bingo, you know, some of those fun activities that we like to integrate into the class, but are actually good teaching activities. And they all take data. So let's look at the sample. So you see the way you would select to either use it or see the sample is right next to that little icon. So let's, for the writing activity, we'll go to show sample. And I know that I'm getting short on time, you guys. I got a little excited about showing you all those settings. So
you're great. We've got a good 10 or 12 minutes. So
okay,
you're good to go.
Okay, good. So just want to let you know, for the writing templates, okay, you have a couple of different options here. You can provide this to a student who can type already on a keyboard. Okay, these activities will already type.
H.
Okay.
Hi.
2 capitals. As you can see, they will provide symbol support if you want the student to have symbol support. Obviously, this is by default. Let me just put a lowercase.
Hi.
There we go. But you can see up on the toolbar up here, you can hide the symbol, show the symbol, symbol review. Symbol review, well, I won't get into it. There's gonna be a whole session just on the writing templates, okay? But I think they're self-explanatory, and if not, I invite you to go and play with them. Any of these templates, I really encourage you that you play with them before you introduce them to the student, if you like it as is.
Hi.
Okay, so this is, again, this is to take the burden off of picking the right words or creating the sentences, and for the student just to learn to enjoy writing, learn the power of writing, right? So obviously this is for a book report. This is what the sample is. So my opinion.
My opinion.
So this is the my opinion category. And again, you're placing the content in here. So this is the sample. And this was 3 different examples. So if I just pick one.
This book was interesting and exciting.
And again, remember, we can hide the symbols.
Hi.
Okay,
This
so we can.
book was interesting and exciting.
And I can turn that off too if we don't want the sentence.
Book.
Oh, not sure why it's doing it. I must have hit the button when I
interesting and exciting.
Don't worry, I used to do that all the time.
As you can see, if you want symbol review for those students who have been using symbols, that's what symbol review is. So they can click on the word, make sure that's the word that they want, and then they click on symbol review. They have the other options right here, but I think you get the idea that each of these categories are going to have sentences already in there. And again, you're choosing what kind of sentences. Remember, if you want to see what the settings are for like what options you have in a template, top left corner, you see those double arrows. Click on the double arrow, the green bar goes shooting across. Here you have that print that I told you about. Here's the little conch. It looks like it doesn't have any activity settings, so you can't adjust how it works. You can just edit the content, but if you do have, you are working with AAC users, high tech, this is where you would adjust those settings. Okay, so that's one template. Let me just make sure I don't. May have too many windows open now. Hold on, please. I don't want to close the window on you. All right. So these are just, so all, it looks like a lot of the word ones are just like that. But let me show you let me show you one of my favorite ones to tell you the truth. Actually, I showed it last session. It was, it's multiple choice. But I want to show you that they have a lot of others. There's errorless questions, record a response. Here's my multiple choice ones that I love so much. They even have the true and false. Errorless questions, basically, right, the student cannot get it wrong. It's going to prompt them so that they don't get it wrong. Even they even have the yes or no, and you can change those symbols on there as well. Let me see, there's, let me go ahead and just do one of the multiple choice once again, since I have them up. And so I can show you how to put content in there. And then I'll show you some other categories. But again, I just encourage you, actually, I probably won't go through anymore, but you can see there's writing, there's math, and again, even the books we have, you'll see that people will use the book templates for math. Okay, they'll create a math book about it, and then you can put the photographs of the students, things that they love, and use them in math terms. So it's visual, so you could use what's motivating for them, what's important to them within your lessons, and that's one of the benefits. All right, so I opened this template where I pressed select, the editing window came up. Now, again, just like that sorting activity, the red writing will tell you what to do. And this is one thing I want to make sure I call out in the multiple choice, because again, this happens to people when they first use this, and this is a great template. Notice that you have to put the correct answer in the first one. Don't worry about scrambling. It will scramble it for you. But you have to put the correct answer in the first one and then the wrong answers in the other one. So we're just going to do a really easy one. Let's see. I am clicking too much right now, so let me just let it rest. See, remember I told you it's not good to click too much.
Well, and I think technology likes to retaliate periodically, especially as we're using it more and more. So
yeah,
no worries.
Okay, let's see. What is today? And I clicked so much that I took the font off. So again, this is just like our Word or anything like that. Right, what is today? And this actually gives me a good opportunity to show you where you would change all this. So what is today? On the right, you're going to see all your property panel. So you can get as detailed with this as you would like to. So you just think of like your Word toolbar, right? This is how you would do that, or PowerPoint where you're putting text boxes in there and all that good stuff. Just a little slow on me right now. Okay. There we go. So you understand how this, and again, it probably would have been faster if I didn't click so much at the beginning. Hence my warning to you at the very beginning of this, do not click too much in this program. All right, so what is today? And today for us, it's Tuesday. So I'm gonna just start, all you have to do is click on the button and just start typing, all right? You can leave it like this if they don't need visuals or anything like that. But if they do, you just select enter. And this window pops up. You notice that there's 3 tabs at the top. Symbols, and it's all the Boardmaker symbols will pop up initially. So if you're using these already, you can use these. There's also web search, which I want to make sure you know.
And Enid, we actually don't see those symbols showing right now on our screen.
Oh, you don't?
No, we still are seeing the editing page.
Okay, so it's a little delayed then. Okay, is it catching up yet?
It has not, but let's try. I'm going to try something really quickly.
Okay.
Just to make sure that we aren't having a Zoom issue, because we all know how much Zoom has been fun the last couple of days. Let's see if it'll let me do this. Yes. All right, you're going to just see my screen for just a moment. I'm going to go right back. Enid, try sharing again now and see if that will correct the issue.
Okay. Here it comes.
Unfortunately, we are still seeing the editing page.
Okay. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to turn off my video.
Okay.
Let's see if that helps a little bit in case it is. And I'm going to turn off some of the Boardmaker screens because I may be pulling too much.
Sure.
So thank you everyone for being patient through this. Hopefully you're taking this time to either go sign up for your Boardmaker account so you can start clicking through those templates.
And
or go to our Google Drive and check through those resources.
yes, I would take this opportunity to look through those resources. Once we get this corrected here, we'll have just a few more minutes of sharing time. We do want to thank you again for being here. But again, if you haven't checked out either in the chat or in the comments section, make sure you hit that bit.ly to go and take a look at the resources that Enid has so graciously put together for us. And you can always reach out to myself or Enid at our contact information, which we will pull up here in just a few minutes.
Yes. And I'm looking for even the Zoom. And once I took off the video, my whole thing disappeared. All I see is myself talking. Like I can see the sign telling that I'm talking.
Yes, if you look in the bottom right-hand corner, you should see 3 little dots in a row. If you click on that, you should be able to regain what you were looking at.
Yep, no 3 little dots.
Okay. Sometimes technology is always a blessing and a curse, which is fine. Let's see, I think, Enid, that your screen for some reason has decided to freeze on us.
Okay. What do you see right now?
We still see just the editing page.
Okay. So I can talk through that. Yeah. Did you? Oh.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do just very quickly is I'm actually going to go to the bit.ly. And I am actually going to be able to pull this up so we can at least see there it is.
Yes.
All right. So it has recovered slightly.
Yes, it popped back on. Yeah, without
Great.
me jumping off and jumping back on. Yes, it was my Zoom. Sorry about that, everyone.
No problem whatsoever. So Enid, we're kind of running out of time and I hate that. But we will be having Enid back in October to work with us more in depth in regards to these academics and some of the material that has been shared with you regarding Boardmaker. On the screen is our contact information, Enid?
Yes. Yes.
Is there anything else you'd like to add?
The only thing I wanted to add was when I was showing you the editing, I just wanted to make sure that you knew that you could either bring in content from the web or you can bring in content from your computer right within that editing page. So I didn't get to show you that, but if you look at our recording from last week's, I was able to show that in that session. So you'll see some skills that we saw, some information and skills that I demonstrated today. Probably wouldn't hurt to see them again because I did go pretty quickly. So if you want to learn how to put the content in those templates, please review that part and that will show you. But I think you got a pretty good idea just from what I provided for you today. Please reach out with and email me if you're interested in any specific activities or doing something, wondering if you can do something with the program. I didn't get to show you how to use the Student Center and downloading and how to look at the data, but I did provide videos on that learning resource page that I shared with you, which is why I did that at the beginning. And so watch really quick videos. They're very clear, very simple, and they'll show you how to access not only the Student Center, but also how to look at the data. Whether it's usage data just to see if your students are using the activities independently or on their own apart from your time with them on screen, or if you're taking the quiz practice data or different prompting or differentiated data that you know specifically for your IEP goals.
Thank you, Enid, so much. We really appreciate you sharing with us today. I appreciate your time and all the great information that you've been able to share with us. And we look forward to working with you again in October. In September, for my MSD teachers, we will be offering some sessions through the Don Johnston Incorporated Company to talk about some of the tools they have and some of the free resources that you'll have access to assist you as we continue to move through a digital learning world. Thanks again for being with us today, and we'll see you soon.
All right. Thank you, Amanda. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you.